If I told you that 15 minutes could completely change how confident, smooth, and controlled you feel on your motorcycle, you'd probably roll your eyes. I would have too. But here's the thing, I'm not talking about riding harder, faster, or riskier. I'm talking about a simple practice routine almost nobody does, and almost every great rider swears by. I'm Matthew. This is Autozium. And today I'm going to show you the one thing you can practice for just 15 minutes that will make you ride 10 times better everywhere. Traffic, corners, parking lots, even highways. No gym, no track day, no fancy drills, just you, your bike, and a little intention. Take a breath and let's get into it. Why riding more doesn't automatically make you better. Most riders believe improvement comes from mileage. More rides, longer rides, more roads checked off the map. And while seat time does matter, it's not the kind of seat time that actually builds control. Mileage builds familiarity, not mastery. You can ride for years and still feel tense in traffic, awkward at slow speeds, nervous in tight turns, and shaky in parking lots. Why? Because most riding happens at comfortable speeds where the bike hides your mistakes. Gyroscopic stability masks sloppy inputs. Momentum forgives bad clutch control. Speed smooths things out just enough to make you think you're improving. But take that same rider and drop them into stop and go traffic, a tight U turn, or a slow uphill start, and suddenly everything falls apart. That's because true skill lives at low speed. Low speed exposes every habit you have: throttle control, clutch finesse, brake coordination, vision, body tension. There's nowhere to hide, and that's exactly why this routine works so well. Great riders don't get good by riding harder. They get good by riding cleaner. They practice where mistakes are obvious and consequences are low. They slow things down on purpose. They train control when there's no pressure, so pressure never overwhelms them later. This routine isn't about pushing limits, it's about removing panic. And once panic disappears, everything else becomes easier. Clutch control, the skill that controls every other skill. If there's one thing that separates confident riders from stressed riders, it's clutch control, not horsepower, not bike size, not experience level. The clutch is the volume knob for your motorcycle, and most riders only know how to turn it all the way up or all the way off. This section of the routine is about teaching your hands what smooth actually feels like, not what you think it feels like. Find a quiet parking lot or empty street. No distractions, no pressure. Put the bike in first gear. Now slowly release the clutch until the bike just begins to creep forward. No throttle yet, just the clutch. That moment, right before full engagement, is the friction zone. And living comfortably in that zone changes everything. Hold it there. Let the bike roll forward at walking pace. Feel how stable it becomes when you stop rushing. This is balance without speed, control without aggression. Most riders rush past this moment every single ride. They dump the clutch, spike the throttle, and then wonder why everything feels jerky. This drill retrains your muscle memory. You're not practicing starts, you're practicing connection. And once your hands understand that connection, every ride afterward feels calmer because you're no longer fighting the bike at the most sensitive point of operation. Adding throttle without adding tension. Once clutch control feels steady, the next layer is throttle. And this is where a lot of riders unknowingly sabotage themselves. They hear add throttle and their wrist jumps instead of rolls. But throttle isn't about power, it's about stability. Add just enough throttle to keep the engine smooth and consistent, not enough to accelerate quickly, just enough to support the clutch. This creates a steady pull that stabilizes the bike and quiets the chassis. Now ride at walking pace. Yes, slow, uncomfortably slow. This is where riders get impatient. They want to speed it up. They want to get to the point. But this is the point. Slow riding teaches precision. It teaches patience. It teaches you to relax instead of react. If the bike wobbles, don't panic. That wobble is feedback, not failure. It's telling you where tension lives in your body. Relax your shoulders, bend your elbows, breathe. This part of the routine teaches you something incredibly important. The bike doesn't need force. It needs clarity. Smooth throttle plus controlled clutch equals calm movement, and calm movement becomes confidence everywhere else. Rear brake, the secret weapon. Most riders underuse. This is where everything starts to feel unfairly easy. Light rear brake pressure while maintaining steady throttle and clutch control adds a layer of stability most riders never fully unlock. It settles the suspension. It slows the bike without killing momentum. And it gives you a sense of control that instantly reduces panic. You're not stopping, you're balancing. Think of the rear brake as a stabilizer, not a stopper. A gentle drag, nothing aggressive. Just enough to smooth out movement and quiet the bike. This technique fixes so many common issues it almost feels like cheating. Stalling, wobbling, jerky starts, panic braking, sloppy low speed turns. All of them improve when the rear brake becomes part of your control loop. Most riders avoid the rear brake because they were told it's less important. That's true at high speeds, but at low speeds, it's gold. When you combine clutch, throttle, and rear brake smoothly, the bike feels planted instead of nervous, predictable instead of twitchy. And once you feel that stability at low speed, your confidence skyrockets because now you're controlling the bike, not reacting to it. Turning slowly without tension. This is the section where most riders finally understand why slow speed riding feels so uncomfortable and why fixing it changes everything. Once you've got clutch control, light throttle, and gentle rear brake working together, it's time to introduce turns. And this is where riders either force the bike or learn to flow with it. Start wide, big, open circles. Give yourself space. The goal isn't to turn tightly, it's to turn smoothly. Keep your speed walking pace slow but consistent. No surging, no chopping, just a steady, calm roll. Now pay attention to your body. Most riders tense up the moment the bike leans, even slightly. Shoulders rise, arms lock. Hands grip the bars like they're trying to hold the bike upright through sheer willpower. And that tension is exactly what makes the bike feel unstable. Your motorcycle wants to lean. That's how it turns. Your job isn't to stop that. It's to stay relaxed enough to let it happen. Bend your elbows, drop your shoulders. Keep your grip light. Imagine your hands are resting on the bars, not squeezing them. If the bars feel heavy, you're gripping too hard. If the bike feels twitchy, it's usually because your upper body is stiff. Vision matters more here than anywhere else. Turn your head fully and look where you want the bike to go. Not at the ground, not at the front wheel, not at the imaginary line you're afraid to cross. Your motorcycle follows your eyes with surprising accuracy. When your vision is calm and intentional, your steering becomes smooth automatically. As you get comfortable, slowly tighten the circles. Don't rush it. Let your confidence build naturally. If the bike wobbles, resist the urge to fight it. Use the clutch and rear brake to stabilize, not your arms. This is where something important happens mentally. Your brain starts to trust the bike. You realize you don't need speed to feel stable. You don't need tension to feel in control. And once that realization clicks, slow turns stop feeling scary. They start feeling satisfying. That calm control carries into every corner you ride on the street. Why this 15-minute routine changes everything. Here's what makes this routine so powerful and why it works faster than almost anything else you could practice. It removes tension before it ever becomes a problem. After about 15 minutes of this, clutch control, smooth throttle, light rear brake, relaxed slow turns, you'll notice a quiet shift. There's no dramatic moment, no sudden confidence spike. But the next time you ride, things just feel easier. Stops are smoother because you're not panicking with the clutch. Traffic feels calmer because you're not rushing your inputs. U-turns feel manageable because you trust your balance. Corners feel cleaner because your body stays relaxed. Nothing about the road changed. You did. Most riders think confidence comes from riding faster, riding harder, or riding more miles. But confidence actually comes from control, especially at low speed, where fear usually lives. When you remove fear at slow speeds, the rest of riding becomes almost effortless. This routine trains your nervous system as much as it trains your hands. You're teaching your brain that the bike is stable, predictable, and cooperative, not something that needs to be fought or controlled aggressively. Do this routine 2 or 3 times a week. Just 15 minutes. No pressure, no ego, no rushing, and the improvements stack quickly. You'll stall less, you'll wobble less, you'll make smoother decisions under pressure. Most importantly, riding starts to feel intentional instead of reactive. You're no longer just responding to what's happening, you're in control of it. That's what Autozium is about. Not speed, not showing off, not chasing adrenaline, but helping you become calm, capable, and confident on 2 wheels, everywhere you ride. Ride smooth, ride smart, and I'll see you in the next one.